So okay, apart from the documenting, is um, I didn't tell you about the documenting part itself. So what I will be documenting is not just the growth. Just now I told about the articulation skills, and I told about the train of thoughts. So what I will be doing is I will be increasing my opportunities for growth. What do I mean by that? Is I will be doing things like learning a new language or learning a new topic, and I'll be documenting everything, and not just documenting. So I'm gonna use the skill that I have, and I'm gonna uh, uh, post it. I'm gonna try to help people out with that skill, and that skill is you can say articulation, uh, as in I can simplify things and explain it in a way where everyone can understand. By everyone, I mean everyone who's interested in that topic. So uh, the reason I believe I can do that is I know I have uh, been with a lot of people who have struggled understanding the concepts that I understood very easily. So the reason for that is, uh, have you seen that meme where there'll be a fish, and then there'll be a monkey, there'll be this four different types of animal. They'll tell this animal to climb a tree, and the fish can't climb the tree because it's a fish. The monkey can because it's a monkey. So same goes for this. So I think that every thing that is being taught, let's say for example psychology, or let's say for example language or geography, what else, anything related to IT. So on every topic is, now let's say I'm sitting there and I'm very curious about the topic, and I want to learn, but the person who's teaching the topic is not curious, and he's just there because, I mean, they are just there because they are being paid for it. So they wouldn't be very curious about the topic. So the way that they teach is just through the slides, and just through whatever is given to them. So when a person is really curious about the topic, it'll be really easy to understand if you are curious also. So I think in the world there are lack of people who's curious about the topic, who's teaching the topic itself. And I'm not telling that teachers are bad. I'm just telling that the way that the academic system is structured is to prioritize the companies itself and not to maximize the benefit that the students get. So um, I think for people to learn any topic or to understand it is to find someone who's curious enough about it and to learn from them. But I would say if you don't have anyone else to learn from, then you should never let your curiosity go, because your curiosity is the way for you to excel in the topic. It can be nuclear physics, or it can be as simple as what's simple. It can be as simple as learning about colors. So as long as you keep your curiosity, it'll be easy for you. So my goal is to let everyone know to never let their curiosity go, because from what I've seen is, uh, every single person in the world is, when they are still a child, they are still interested in the topics that are out there. Is they are interested about the world, they are interested about the trees, they are interested about the buildings, they are interested about the river. So they are interested in everything, but as time goes on, when they get curious about it, uh, the person around them who they refer to is not curious enough about it. let's say I'm 5 years old, and mm, I'm asking my sister. So, sister, uh, how was the river made? She doesn't know. It's like, how would I know how the river is made? So, what she would do is she would give me a simple answer. She would say like, the river comes from the ocean. So, um, I have no choice just to take the answer. And would I be more curious about it after that? No, I would just think that river comes from the ocean. Now, uh, what can be done instead is, let's say my I'm asking how the river is made, and what my sister could have told me to maintain my curiosity is, mm, let me make up something. um, she could have said that the river flows throughout the whole world, and when you follow the river, you'll reach the end of the river, and when you reach the end, you'll never know what's there because no one has reached the end. Now, what I did is I lied, but did I maintain the curiosity? Yes, because the thing about rivers, it maintained a mystery. So I think staying curious is fundamental to learning about everything. Now, that's about river. So imagine when a child, he's asking about all kind of stuff. He's asking why the sky is blue. He's asking why the ocean is blue. So for all the things is the uh, okay, when a point comes where, let me just draw it out. Okay. So this child, he's curious about everything. He's curious about that. He's curious about that. He's curious. He's curious. So when the answers are being shut down to him, like this made from this, this made from this, this made from this, this made from this. So he no longer stays curious since he have all the answers. Mm, so now when I tell him that the river is made, oh yeah, let me put blue one. Okay. Now when I tell him that the river is made from, oh yeah, okay, oi, okay, blue. I'll try. Okay. So when I tell him that the river is made from, river is ever flowing and the river never stops, it comes from a mysterious source. The mystery remains there. So the kid remains curious about it. Same goes for everything else. So I think during old times, I've never read history, so I'm not going to pretend that I have read history. So I think during old times, when it there's no internet, yeah, there's no definitive answer for everything. When everything is explained in a mysterious way, where everything came from God or something like that, uh, even then, when they put an answer, definite answer to it, they just tell that it came from God. It's it. I don't think it cuts them off, but it makes people curious about God Himself. Like, who is God, and why did He make all this? So I think that's why there was a lot of philosophers in the old time made uh, who was always thinking about what's the grand purpose, or like who made everything, or is God real or not. And since, yeah, yeah, that, yeah, I lost my train of thoughts. Shit. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, curiosity. Let me write it down. Curiosity. So curiosity is, let me draw a key. Okay. Curiosity is key to uh to learning. Yeah. So now let's throw this example away for a minute. Now we want to get into something that I have experience with, which is IT. So I'm gonna explain in IT terms. Okay, not IT terms, but I'm gonna explain in a way where. Wait, am I blocking the camera? Wait, 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 wait. Okay, okay, better. So let's say, okay, a motherboard. Now, let's say this person is curious about motherboards. What is motherboard? What does it do? Now, of course, there are answers, and they can search up in ChatGPT or uh, anywhere, Gemini. They would get answers like motherboard is the main part of a computer, or some something like that. But now let's say they get an answer. Motherboard is the uh, controller of the computer. Of course, controller is not the correct definition. Is I'm just gi- giving what I know. So let's say controller. So now this person, he is a curious person. Now what we'll do, he'll ask, why is it controlling everything, and why can't another part do that, why the parts in the motherboard needs controlling. So right now what I'm doing is, I'm not learning about the motherboard itself. I'm not learning about what's in the motherboard or what does it do. I'm trying to understand its purpose. So what's the purpose of the motherboard? So when I know what's the purpose of the motherboard, or when this fella knows what's the purpose of the motherboard, he can understand the components in the motherboard very easily. You don't have to sit down and study what is a motherboard, what does it do, or I mean, not what does it do. He don't have to sit and learn about the parts in the motherboard itself. The primary thing that he have to do is learn its purpose. Stay curious about its purpose. Why is it there? Can it be replaced? Why is it important? What does it do? So essential questions like that will help the person to make a general idea about the motherboard itself. So now when they are learning about everything else related to the motherboard, let's say RAM or let's say SSD, they are learning that RAM is to store temporary data. Like for example, the software that I'm running right now, it's running in my RAM. SSD, however, is to store permanent data. So now when I'm learning this, now I get curious about what is data. What is data? Why is it in my RAM? Why is it in my SSD? So now I'm thinking about what is data itself. So what's the relation between my data and software? Now how does software becomes data? So as we go on, as we stay curious, we'll learn way faster, and we'll learn the most effective way to learn, which is learning because you want to know, not because you have to know. Now, the reason we are learning the motherboard is because I want to know what motherboard is. I want to know what is data. I want to know what is software. So what I'm doing is I'm creating the need for me to learn. So I won't be forcing myself to learn anything. So now, throughout this whole process of my growth, I will be also showing ways where hopefully it will help you guys learn faster. And by doing that, hopefully I'll learn. Okay, I'll put learn. Then hopefully we'll get to learn major topics. And by learning major topics, why do we need to learn the major topics? I think because it's easy. It's not the hardest thing in the world. It's not the most complicated thing in the world. And things like, for example, I'm going to list it down. Let me zoom in for dramatic effect. Okay, so examples, the topics that we'll be going through is psy okay psychology, yeah. Psychology, history, computers in general, and then geography, why not, and languages. Yeah. mm, yeah, so it's these topics is um, I think fundamentals of everything. Is doesn't mean that you know this, you know psychology, you know history, you know computers, you're now smart. No, I think it's to help our make our lives easier. And I think some topics are being complicated on purpose so that people won't have to spend a lot of time. People don't get curious about these topics. It's like a person may be good in psychology, but he won't be as good in computers. A person may not be as good in languages, but he can be very good in history. So uh, I think that all these topics are very easy, even the advanced level. I mean, for example, I was planning to learn Russian, which is one of the hardest languages in the world. And I'm gonna prove to you guys that it's not that hard. Geography, not that hard. Computers, not that hard. Psychology, not that hard. And I hope uh, these videos, the videos that I'm gonna put out, actually helps people. Hopefully, inshallah.